Welcome everybody to the January 21st, 2026 Garrison Board of Education regular business meeting. Dusty, will you please call the roll?
Jocelyn Apostello.
She will be here in a couple minutes.
Eric Arnold.
Here.
Jennifer Harrington Wilson. Here. Dan Jasnow.
Here.
Peter Lesser.
Here.
Ken Schott.
Excused.
Sarah Tony. Here.
Pledge allegiance. Do we have any proposed changes to the agenda for tonight? Right. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accept the agenda as presented. May I have a motion?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right, moving on to the most exciting part of our agenda tonight, the musical preview for Andy. Very exciting. Mr. Barone.
Mr. Barone's going to start us off, and we have a treat for everybody tonight. And Liv Williams is joining us, and she's just going to give you a little bit of a taste of Annie, the musical.
All right.
Mr. Barone.
Yes, we're here tonight to get the word out about Andy Jr., our musical, on February 5th and 6th at 7:15. We're hoping to get some of the community out at 2 days of the show. It's quite a group effort. It's led by Miss Arneson, our theater director, who had a prior commitment tonight. She couldn't be here. So she's leading us through this whole thing. We have Mr. Young building the set. We have Miss Speziale, music directing, helping with the vocals. And here we are with Miss Hannigan, our lead for the show, Liv Williams. So we're going to give you a little taste of the show. Hope you enjoy. We hope to see you out here on Thursday or Friday in a few weeks or so.
Great.
All right, here we go.
Little girls, everywhere I turn I can see them. Little girls, night and day I eat, sleep and breathe them. Some women are dripping with diamonds, some women are dripping with pearls. Lucky me, look at what I'm dripping with. Little girls, someday I'll step on their freckles, some night I'll straighten their curls. Send the blood, send the blue, anything that you can do to little
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was truly exceptional. I can't wait to see the whole performance, and hopefully there'll be a lot of board representation, a lot of community representation. So thank you for being here tonight. Really excellent. Thank you.
Please, Andre.
February 5th and 6th, is that right?
February 5th and 6th, 7:15 p.m.
7:15 p.m. Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. That was great. All right. Moving on to Dr. Stoll. That's a hard act to follow, but I'm sure you
I think I'm just going to quit now. Just go home after Liv. Thank you, Liv. And thank you, Williams, for allowing us to share a little time with Liv. My report will be very brief tonight. Joe and I want to give a little bit of an update. We have some movement on our capital projects, so we want to just briefly let the board and the community know about where we're at with some of our capital projects. I even came with pictures to prove that we're actually making some progress. So we've been talking about the electric water heaters for a very long time. I want to let you know that we are probably 3/4 of the way done. We finally have heat, hot water I should say, in the middle school. That's been installed. That is the picture on the right. That's installed, running, so the middle school for the first time in a long time has hot water. We are waiting for a few parts. On the left you'll see the main hot water heater, and Mike and his team cleaned up that area, painted, made it look really nice. That's kind of where Seymour lives, the biodigester. And it has a new roommate. We're just waiting for a few parts to hook it up, and then we'll do the crossover between the existing water heater. So we're very close to getting that project complete and done, kind of on time. I will say that the gym roof project that we're still waiting for the CREST grant money, Joe has been checking in on it. They don't want to give us money yet, but once we do, we'll be ready to move with that project. That's phase one. Once those two projects are done, then phase one will be completely complete. Phase two, I'm happy to report that that is what was in this current year's budget. That's the retaining walls, the front stairs, some roofing over the main office in the 1908 section. That has been approved by the New York State Education Department. So yay, that's a big step forward. The next part is our architects are preparing bid specs. We should go out pretty soon once we get those bid specs out to bid. We hope to do an award sometime around when, Joe, if everything is perfect?
The first board meeting in March, we'll have an award.
And that would allow us to have that projected start date in summer of 2026 is exactly when we thought it would be. So that's phase two. Even more exciting is phase three. Phase three is our immersive forest classroom as well as our makerspace, which will be behind me. The committee completed its work for the outdoor classroom. The architect is going to present to the Board of Education based upon all the feedback we've got from that committee on the 11th of February. We will post that. We want the community to come out. We really want people to kind of get a sense, make comments if they want. We really want people involved in this process, and we want to thank the Outdoor Education Committee. And Peter, thank you again for chairing it. We can't wait to see what the architects bring to us. We're happy to share that with the board. And that will be consideration for the board's consideration as a capital project for the 26-27 school year. The Makerspace project, the plans have been submitted to SED to kind of build out the space. We're waiting for SED approvals. Once we get that, very similarly to the 2025 capital projects, we'll prepare bid specs, go out to bid, and award it. Our projected start date, hopefully, would be summer of 2026, so very busy summer in terms of capital projects. But one of the things that we're doing right now is we're working with our staff, and we're working with Peter, with his wife Tina, really what goes inside of this place. And a lot of that isn't really a capital project. That is more supplies, materials, technology, furniture. And we're working to see how we can grow into that space. And when we get a little farther along, we'll share where we are with that. But we're really excited about the work we're doing. We actually visited the Byram Hills Central School District today and their spaces, and we want to thank them and the people that came with us. We're just going to try to learn from the journey of others. And that's where we're at in our capital projects. The other thing I want to report and is that the governor's proposed executive budget was released. And so what does that mean for Garrison? I'm happy to report that it is an increase in it, which is really nice to see, and I'll go through it very briefly. And at the end, I'll certainly be able to answer questions about either the capital projects or this. It's approximately $131,000 in change of increased aid. It's a 10.6% increase in aid. Which is nice to see, unexpected. We just wanted to stay flat. We thought we would win. But it looks like a majority of that is something that I have to say, this boards in the region, superintendents in the region have been pushing for greatly, which is an increase in the the pre-K per pupil allocation rate, which was at a artificially low $5,400 per student. In the governor's proposed budget, across the state, some districts get more based upon need, but across the state, it's a $10,000 per pupil expenditure. So for us, really what that means, that's about a $4,600 per pupil increase. So we're looking to get about $140,000 in pre-K money, as opposed to what we've gotten in the past. So I want to thank this board, those that serve, and Sarah for you and Westcott, and for Dan who went with me, to legislators meeting, superintendents in the region. We really talked to our legislators, so I want to thank them too for really pushing this with the governor. That's going to make a huge difference. So now what do? We wait for the Senate and the Assembly to negotiate. And typically, you know, I don't know, but it looks like they typically go up from the Senate and the Assembly, but I'm not hearing a lot of rumblings that there's big fights in Albany right now. So this seems to be a really favorable for all districts. And this is favorable for us to get to make sure that we keep our programs, and we, having an increased allocation in pre-K money is always greatly appreciated.
I know Westcott has some lobby nights coming up that we could possibly join with our representatives, so this might be a good thing to point out to them and acknowledge.
Yeah.
We really appreciate this extra funding. I'm sure other districts will join in that as well.
Yeah, we're pleased, and you know they heard our voices in Albany, which is really good to see. A couple happenings, and we have our international potluck dinner on January 29th, 5 to 7. If you want to hear Liv and the cast and crew of Annie Jr., please come out February 5th and 6th, 7:15. We are going to try to advertise this up, down, left, and right, because I have watched some of the kids perform in their practices, the work that's going into this. It is going to be a memorable performance. And if Liv is any indication of it, it's just going to be amazing. We have our February 11th board meeting, and the reason why every board meeting is important, but the reason why this is really important is our architects are going to present the outdoor classroom project to the community and to the board for consideration. We have a Valentine's dance middle school on February 13th. And before you know it, we're going to be closing again for the midwinter break, February 16th through the 20th. That concludes my superintendent's report. I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Greg. Just a quick comment on the facilities report. Thank you for doing that. I think I've said it before, but I think it's very helpful as a board member to see those repeated updates on where we stand with these board projects, and you know, to see that the projects that we approved as part of the budget in 2024 and 2025 are still ongoing. Obviously, there's a long tail on a lot of these things, and so I think it's also helpful to those in the community that are interested in tracking, what the status is of these projects that we are allocating money to. It's good to have an ongoing record of that and see where things are getting snagged and when they're getting approved and how that process works. Also said this before, but I think it's just incredibly exciting, the two projects that are in phase 3, the outdoor classroom and the maker space, which for those of you who don't know, or those watching on video, is going to be right behind us. It's going to be really a unique STEAM space that we are also working to map into our curriculum with Mr. McDonald and make sure that we take great use of it and that it becomes a real resource for teachers and students. And then, of course, the outdoor classroom will be a truly unique space and make use of an incredible asset that we have as a district. So very exciting. I hope that we will get a lot of community input on that piece, and that we'll be able to generate a lot of interest and enthusiasm for that project. So thank you for the update. And I think that's it. Obviously, great news on the school budget piece. Any other questions for Dr. Stoll? Right. I don't have too much in the way of board president's remarks. I did just want to flag that Sarah, Greg, and I had talked about trying to pull together a sort of mini retreat for the board as we are about to enter the budget process in earnest. So I believe Ken's not here tonight, but we have a finance committee meeting scheduled for before our board meeting on February 11th. So that'll sort of kick off the process, and then we were thinking we would try and do some sort of retreat for the board members shortly thereafter to focus on some of what we had talked about previously in some of the exec and other sessions where how can the board become more engaged in some of the community advocacy work that we're talking about. What are the appropriate lines for that with respect to the budget process, and what is the right line between the role of the board, the role of the superintendent, and sort of talk through all those various issues. So keep an eye out. We will circulate an email to try and schedule, which might be a challenge, but we'll see what we can do. All right. Moving on to item 6A on the agenda, the board communications and presentations. So we have final review and adoption of the 2026-2027 school calendar. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby adopts the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented. May I have a motion? Second. Do we have any questions on the calendar? I think the most notable thing is that we are starting the week before Labor Day for anybody that's already planning their late summer vacations. Any questions? Anything else you want to
This is exactly the same as our first version, with the only notable difference getting the GTA's feedback of moving a parent-teacher conference, which was first in March. The first one scheduled for the 11th, we moved it to the 4th to give a little bit of time between the two and stay away from the spring recess.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Moving on to item 7, which is our first public comment. Public comment is intended for members of the community to speak openly and voice concerns. In accordance with policy 1510 of the Garrison Union Free School District, any person wishing to speak shall comply with all provisions of this policy. Comments about specific school personnel or individual students is a violation of board policy. Concerns regarding students or personnel should be discussed privately with the superintendent or appropriate administrator. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes, and speakers are asked to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. The board will listen to comments but will not engage in dialogue. Any necessary follow-up will be noted and provided through the appropriate channel. Members of the public wishing to comment during board meetings are asked to place their name and town of residence on the sign-in sheet. Commenters will be invited to the podium to address the board. Anybody that would like to address the board during public comment? Nobody on our list? All right, we'll close public comment and move on to item 8, acceptance of the minutes. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District does hereby accept the minutes of the regular workshop meeting of January 7, 2026 as presented. May I have a motion? Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Moving on to item 9, the treasurer's report. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby accepts the treasurer's report for December 2025 as presented. May I have a motion?
Second.
Anything notable in this one, Joe?
No, this is just a standard report from December.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Committee reports with the Planning Committee Chair, Jocelyn.
Speaking to the mic. Okay. We met on January 7th, and it was a great meeting. I mean, I'm the chair, but there's so much happening, and it's being done so well, and being led by these two, that I feel feel like so lucky because I haven't really done anything. But I get to report to you all that the curriculum mapping is continuing, and I can't wait to see that once it's unveiled, and there'll be presentations to the board, and there'll be user-friendly things on websites for our families and community. And the 5-year Environmental Education Planning Committee, which the other 2 members of the planning committee are both on, along with Dr. Stoll and Mike and Allison, and and then a couple teachers. Yeah, so they've been meeting, they've had their second of 3 meetings. I'm going to read the words that they selected for their core components and their focus areas, because if you've been on like committees, you know how important it is to select. So I'm going to honor all those words you all have selected. They're important. So the core components they are proposing are strong interdisciplinary curriculum, connected community, and a future-focused approach. And then aligned with that, the focus areas will be sustainable practices, out-of-classroom learning experiences, student ownership, and agency. So I'm sure you worked a lot on picking those words, and they're very meaningful, and we can't wait to see how they're outlined later on. As you, I know you're going to be doing some more work on how you might want to present it. There's a March 11th final meeting that you all are having, the Environmental Education Planning Committee. One thing I wanted to suggest, our actual planning committee meeting was for March 4th, the week prior, so I'm recommending now, we'll figure out later, to move our final planning committee meeting to after there, so you can all report and we can have something to really present maybe in April to the full board. And just quickly, and I guess the outdoor environmental planning committee has already finished all their work, and I can't wait to hear what they have to say. So, am I missing on some of this good work you've been doing?
I just have to say that the amount of progress that's been made is just outstanding.
Yeah.
Very commendable.
Great.
That's it. Thanks.
Thanks, Jocelyn. Any other questions for Jocelyn? All right. We'll move on to item 11A, approval of the CSE CPSE recommendations. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District approve the Committee on Special Education and Committee on Preschool Special Education recommendations and student placements. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Right, moving on to item 12A, appointment of per diem substitute. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby appoints Rochelle Lotan as a certified per diem substitute for the 2025-2026 school year, effective January 26, 2025, as per January 26, as 26, as per the rates most recently established by the Board of Education. May I have a motion?
So, second.
Do you want to speak to this one?
Yeah, I'll just briefly, we want to again thank the board for increasing our rate of pay for certificated subs. We were able to get another certificated sub with teaching experience. The reason that we're bringing on another sub is one of our subs is, and thankfully, and we wish her well, she's taking a leave replacement position, which is starting her career, which we're super supportive of, and the other one is starting her student teaching. So these are happy, joyous times to help launch people from our school and bring a seasoned, experienced teacher to replace those 2 people. So I met Rochelle. She's very excited to be here, very excited about the Garrison community. We can't wait for her to start.
Great. Welcome to Rochelle. After we do the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Great. Item 13 is new business. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District, upon the recommendation of the superintendent, hereby approves the new business items as presented. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
All right, we've got a couple items here. Greg, you want to speak to these as well?
Sure. So we have a charter. The drama club is not new, but we looked through our records and we didn't see a charter for the drama club. So we created a charter, and we want to appoint Natalie Arneson, our new theater director, to do it. It is a incredibly large club. There's a lot of students that really want to be part of it, and as you saw, there is a thirst for drama and theater here, and we want to make sure that we support that. So this is for the board to consider to approve the charter. The rate of pay is already set in the GTA, and it's $1,200. It's money well spent. So we want to thank Natalie for giving her time and her expertise to support our young actors, actresses, cast members. We have a really thriving theater program, and you'll see it if you come and see Annie June.
Great, thank you. We also have another grant award from GSEF following the grant we accepted last meeting as well.
Yep, there's another grant, and we'll be happy to know that our green team, which I've talked about, which work in our cafeteria to do sustainable food practices, food waste, and work with Ms. Bucola. They're getting green team vests, right, with logos and insignias on it, and we're really excited that GSEF is supporting this. Again, in this year's budget, we didn't know we would need something like this, and this has kind of organically happened. And so our green team will now have vests, thanks to the generosity of GSEF in our community.
Great. Any questions on either of the first two items?
I will take pictures.
Yes, please do. And then 2 new student teachers, which is very exciting.
Yeah, we were able to cultivate a relationship with Pace University. A student from Pace University will be doing their student teaching with us, and we're really excited about that, and also SUNY New Paltz. So having 2 student teachers is, my understanding from Allison, is kind of unique for us to have 2 student teachers at once. So we want to continue to help our future educators learn, and there's no better place to learn what schools should be than having them come here to Garrison and see and be envious when they get their first job if it's not here, because this is really a unique place. So, thank you to Pace University, thank you to SUNY New Paltz, and thank you to the teachers here that are supporting our student teaching placement.
Great. Questions or comments?
I just wanted to say I really appreciate the effort that went into building the relationship with Pace and SUNY New Paltz. This is something we've talked about for years, and I'm really grateful that we're able to have some student teachers come in, hopefully substitutes, and when we say we need people, we'll have somebody to turn to. So this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you, Allison, for really working hard to make sure these things happen. And she's really on the front lines of making sure that we really can be a great placement for student teachers.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. That brings us to our second public comment session. I will not read this again. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to speak, you may come up now. As we will move ahead to board comments. Jocelyn.
No comment. Except actually, sorry, Liz, she left, but oh my God.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Excited to see it.
Thanks. Eric?
Same. I have to go to Annie, and I'm actually looking forward to it. It's a great job.
Jen? Ditto for me. Pete?
Yeah, I just want to thank Greg and Mike for the visit today to the Byron Hills School District to look at their maker spaces. It was very inspiring. It's clear that both of you have deep connections into the community and of teachers out there, teachers and administrators. So that was impressive to see, and I think there's a lot of good models there, and I think we need to, which I know we are, being very thoughtful about this, about how to build this out and really get the most out of this space for our teachers, and really involve them in the process of developing this. So thank you for setting that up and being there.
executive session tonight. Be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Garrison Union Free School District hereby enters into executive session for the purpose of reviewing probationary instructional staff. May I have a motion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? All right, we will adjourn the meeting without taking any further action.
Congratulations.
Yeah.